Hey everyone! So, for the longest time, electric cars were kind of a novelty, right? A niche thing. Well, those days are long gone. The EV market has absolutely exploded into this global battleground where every car maker is fighting for a piece of the pie. And the rules of the game? They've completely changed. It's not just about who's got the most range anymore, it's about real-world value, build quality, and knowing your car is going to last. So, let's jump in and see who's really on top as we head into 2026.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick trip around the world, starting with how this whole market has just grown up so fast. Then we'll check out the incredible value coming out of Korea and this shocking tech invasion from China. We'll see how the old guard in Europe and, of course, Tesla are fighting back. And we're going to bust some big myths about reliability, break down what it really costs to drive one of these things, and by the end, you'll have a super clear picture of this crazy new race.
All right, first up, this new EV battlefield. You know, the pace of change here it's just wild. Seriously, anything you thought you knew about electric cars, even a couple of years ago, is basically ancient history now. The whole industry has been learning and improving at just a breakneck speed. And this number tells you everything. Just 1 year ago, data showed that electric cars had a whopping 79% more reported problems than gasoline cars. 1 year later, that gap has shrunk all the way down to 42%. I mean, that's a massive improvement, and it shows you just how quickly EVs are getting their act together.
So this huge leap in quality brings up the big question, right? If everybody's getting better, who's actually pulling ahead of the pack? It's not just about the brands we've known for decades anymore. This race is wide open, and believe me, the winners might just surprise you. And that leads us perfectly to our first major player, the Koreans. Hyundai and Kia have just played this brilliantly. Their strategy is laser-focused on one thing, taking really expensive, high-end tech and making it affordable for everybody. We're talking about things like 800-volt charging, the kind of tech that lets you charge crazy fast, stuff that used to only be on six-figure Porsches. And the absolute star of this show, without a doubt, is the Kia EV3. This thing didn't just turn a few heads, it went and won the super prestigious 2025 World Car of the Year award. The judges themselves called it the new global benchmark for value. When you see what it packs, you'll get why.
Okay, so let's just break down what you get. A range of over 600 kilometers, which is just fantastic for a compact SUV. It fast charges in about 31 minutes. It's got an AI-powered interface and a really nice interior made from sustainable materials. And all of this comes in a practical family car that starts around 24,000 euros. That combination of features, range, and price, it is, right now, just unbeatable anywhere in the world.
Now, let's shift gears and head over to our next major force, the Chinese tech invasion. Look, for a long time, the idea was that Chinese cars were just cheap knockoffs. That thinking is so outdated, it's actually dangerous. Today, companies like BYD and Xiaomi aren't just competing on price anymore. They are legitimate technology leaders, especially when it comes to battery tech and software.
Just get a load of these numbers. The Xiaomi SU7 Max is basically a rocket, doing 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.6 seconds. The BYD Seal is pushing over 500 horsepower, and the Zeekr 7X, which is from the same group that owns Volvo, has over 600 horsepower and an interior that feels seriously premium. These are not economy cars. They are serious performance machines that are giving brands like Porsche and BMW a real run for their money.
And here comes the knockout punch. That super high-performance BYD Seal, the one with 530 horsepower, it starts at around 34,000 euros in Italy. That blend of insane performance and a truly disruptive price is exactly what's sending shockwaves through the boardrooms of the legacy car makers.
And you know, it's not just about raw power. BYD's secret weapon is something called its Blade battery. It's famous for being incredibly safe, like you can literally puncture it and it won't burst into flames. But maybe even more important, it has an insane lifespan. It's rated for over 3,000 charge cycles. That's enough to last for more than 1 million kilometers. Think about that. It just completely wipes away any anxiety about the battery dying long term.
So, with all this pressure coming from all sides, how are the established giants responding? Well, they're adapting. Tesla is finally getting serious about fixing its old weaknesses, and the European brands are doubling down on what they do best: killer design, personality, and some really clever engineering. For Tesla, it's really all about growing up. The updated Model 3, which people are calling Highland, is the perfect example.
They've gone through and systematically fixed the biggest complaints people had for years. They added better materials and acoustic glass to make the cabin way quieter and feel more premium. It shows they're shifting from just chasing specs to actually refining the whole experience of owning the car.
And over in Europe, you see these two brilliant but totally different approaches. The Renault 5 isn't just a car, it's a smart piece of your home's energy system. It has vehicle-to-grid tech, which means you can sell power back to the grid and actually save money. Then you have the Fiat Grande Panda, which is all about brilliant simplicity. Its best feature? A spiral charging cable that's built right into the front bumper. You never have to dig a dirty, tangled cable out of your trunk again. It's just smart, clever design with a ton of character.
Okay, all this new tech is super exciting. But for most of us, the most important question is a simple one. What happens a few years down the road? What actually breaks on these things? It's time to get past the marketing hype and look at the real-world reliability data.
This is it. This is the #1 fear for pretty much every person thinking about buying an EV. It's that multi-$1,000 question that just stops a sale dead at its tracks. Is this expensive car going to turn into a useless brick in a few years?
Well, you can take a deep breath because the data is in and it is incredibly reassuring. Based on studies of tens of thousands of cars, the average modern EV battery only loses about 2.3% of its health per year. That means after 8 years of driving, most batteries still have over 80% of their original capacity. The catastrophic battery failure that everyone is so afraid of is actually incredibly rare. So, if it's not the main battery, what does go wrong? Well, the real culprits are way more boring. The #1 reason an EV breaks down is the good old 12-volt battery. Yep, the same little battery that's in every gas car. Also, because EVs are so heavy, suspension parts and brakes tend to wear out a bit faster. And of course, you get the occasional software bug or laggy screen. But here's the key thing. The electric motor itself, it is by far the most reliable part of the entire car.
So who puts this all together the best? Well, according to major consumer studies, the reliability champs for 2026 are the BMW i4, which gets praised for its rock-solid build quality, and the Nissan Ariya, which has proven to be one of the most dependable electric SUVs out there. It just goes to show you that having decades of manufacturing experience really still counts for a lot. All right, last but definitely not least, let's talk about the bottom line, your wallet. Buying the car is one thing, but what does it actually cost to run day to day? The answer almost entirely depends on one single thing, where you plug it in.
And this chart just shows the difference so clearly. If you charge at home in Italy, it costs you less than €5 to go 100 kilometers. But if you're only using those super fast highway chargers, that cost can shoot up to almost €14. That's often more expensive than running an efficient diesel car. So the takeaway is crystal clear. To really get those big savings, you need to be able to charge at home.
But what about the price to buy the car in the first place? Well, that's where government policy can make a huge difference. This number, €11,000, is the maximum incentive that some buyers can get in Italy. An incentive like that can bring the price of an entry-level EV right down into the same ballpark as its gas-powered cousin, which makes the choice a whole lot easier. So, let's wrap this all up. If you're looking for the absolute best bang for your buck, the Kia EV3 is the world champ. If you want pure, proven reliability, BMW and Nissan are at the top of the list. And if you're looking for bleeding-edge tech and performance, you've got to watch the Chinese brands. But you know who the real winner is in all of this? It's us, the consumer. We have more choices, better quality, and more affordable cars than we've ever had before.
So as we look ahead, the old fears about range and reliability are starting to fade away. The next big fight is going to be over software, user experience, and making the car truly intelligent. And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question. Will the company that builds the smartest car of tomorrow be a car company, or will it be a tech company? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.